This is lesson 8.8, division of polynomials. So you all know that you can add fractions if they have a common denominator, such as this example, a plus b over c. But if you go in reverse, you can take apart the terms and separate them with the denominator. So for example, 4x cubed plus 6x squared. This is a binomial being divided by a monomial. So you can separate this into 4x cubed divided by 2x plus 6x squared over 2x, and then simplify from there. And when you simplify, you will get 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 goes into 4 2 times, and so we get 2, and then x cubed divided by x, that's x3 minus 1 would be x squared. 2, let's simplify this. 2 goes into 2 1 time, 2 goes into 6 3 times, so I'm going to write plus 3, and then I divide this. I'm going to simplify. X squared minus 1 would be x, and this would be my answer, 2x squared plus 3x. So what I want you to do as soon as you see this problem is to break up the terms with the monomial. So let's go ahead and do that here. This is 4x plus 2, so 4x over 2 plus 2 divided by 2. Now if I simplify this, I'm going to get 2 goes into 2 1 time, 2 goes into 4 2 times. I'm just going to leave the x there. So this is 2x. I have nothing in my denominator. If I simplify this fraction 2 over 2, you all know that this is 1 whole. So my answer is 2x plus 1. Okay, here I have a trinomial that I need to break up. 9x cubed over 3x minus, be sure to note your minus signs, 6x squared over 3x plus 12x over 3x. Now let's work on simplifying this answer. So 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 9 3 times, x to the third power minus 1 is x squared. 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I need to make sure I put that minus sign. I have 2, and then x squared minus 1 is just x. And then I simplify this. 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 12 4 times. These cancel out, so all I'm left with is plus 4. Notice I have nothing in my denominator, and this is my final answer, 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay, let's continue with some more examples. I have 4x squared. That's going to go over a negative 4x. And then look at, you have a minus sign here, minus 8x over negative 4x plus 16 over negative 4x. Now let's simplify. So 4 goes into 4 1 time. 4 goes into 4 1 time. So I have a 1 over a negative 1. So we know that this is going to be negative. Okay, but the 4s are going to, this is just a 1. Now x squared minus 1 is just going to be x. Okay, now I want you to see I've got a minus, a negative. So this is actually going to cancel out and become a plus. So my sign is going to be a plus. 4 goes into 4 1 time. 4 goes into 8 2 times. This simplifies to 2, and these x's cancel out. And then I'm going to proceed to simplify this last term. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 16 4 times. Note that I have a negative sign. So this is a negative 4 over. I still have this x. There's nothing to cancel it out, so I need to keep the x in my denominator. So this is negative 4 over x. That is my final answer. Okay, here is a chunky one, but this really isn't too difficult. You just have to slowly break it down. So 4a squared, b squared times c squared over negative 6abc. Note the minus sign, 6ab squared c squared over negative 6abc plus 12abc squared over negative 6abc. So let's begin to simplify. Okay, my common factor here would be 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and write this. This is a negative sign right here. So I'm going to put my negative sign. It doesn't matter where it goes on the outside of this fraction. This is a negative 2/3. A squared, so a to the second power minus 1 is a. B to the second power minus 1 is b. And c to the second power minus 1 is c. So this is 2 times a times b times c over 3. Okay, so then I have a minus sign and a minus sign. These are going to cancel out and become a positive. So this is going to be a positive sign. Let's simplify. 6 goes into 6 one time. 6 goes into 6 one time. These are going to cancel out. A over A. I've got a B to the second power minus a 1. So there's going to be a 1 here. C to the second power minus a 1 is also going to be a 1. So I'm going to write this down before I forget all the pieces. Now these all cancel out. We don't need to write the 1. The A canceled out. I've got left a B and I have a C. I have nothing in my denominator to write. And then I'm going to simplify this last term. My common factor would be 6. 6 goes into 6 one time. 6 goes into 12 two times. Note that I have a negative sign. So this is going to be a minus. So I have a 2. My A's cancel. My B's cancel. I have C squared minus 1. We'll just be left with C 1c. So I have, make sure I wrote that right. Yes, so I've got left 2 times c, and this is my final answer. Okay. Now we are going to work on dividing a polynomial by a polynomial. Remember, this is, if I say find x squared minus 3x minus 10, this is a trinomial. It has 3 different terms, divided by a binomial. So right here is my divisor, and the divisor is what goes outside of what you're dividing. So let's set this up correctly, and I'll show you how to work through this. Let's put our trinomial on the inside. Okay, so let's break this down. We're dividing this binomial x plus 2 into this trinomial. And what I want you to do is to almost cover up this plus 2. I want you to focus only on this first term, okay? So what you're going to do is focus on this first term and think, how many times does x go into x squared? And what you need to think is, what do I multiply times x to get x squared? And because you know the rules of powers, you know the product rule, you know that x times x equals x squared. So what I'm going to do, just like in regular long division, I'm going to subtract. But since I'm working with polynomials, I'm going to put my answers in parentheses so that I remember I need to subtract everything in parentheses. So x times x is x squared. Now I focus on the rest of this binomial, and I'm going to multiply it by the 2x. So 2 times x is plus 2x. Put this in parentheses. So always this first line here is going to cancel. X squared minus x squared, it's just 0. So we don't have to write anything. Now if you have to do a little math on the side, that's okay. Negative 3 minus a positive 2 is going to be a negative 5x. And just like in regular division, you're going to bring this next term down. And now we're ready to start our division again. So now we need to think, how many times does x go into negative 5x? X goes into negative 5x negative 5 times, because negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Remember, we're going to subtract. I'm going to put my polynomial in parentheses, so negative 5x, and then negative 5 plus 2, negative 5 times a positive 2 is negative 10. So this is going to cancel out. These terms cancel, and that becomes 0. A negative 10 plus a negative 10, that is going to become 0. And my final answer is x minus 5. And that is the end of this division problem. Okay, let's complete another problem. So we have six x squared plus x minus 10 being divided by 2x plus 3. Okay, so we're again focusing on the first term, 2x. I want you to think, how many times does 2x go into 6x squared? You know that 2 goes into 6 3 times. So you can start there, okay? Take baby steps. And then how many times would it take for x squared or x to go into x squared? And by applying the product rule, you know that x times x is x squared. So 3x times 2x is 6x squared. We subtract, just like always in long division. I'm going to put my polynomial in parentheses. 3x times the second term in the binomial, 3x times 3 is a plus 9x. I'm going to remember to subtract everything in this binomial. So 6x squared minus 6x squared, this cancels out. I don't have to write anything. A 1 minus a 9 equals negative 8. So this is negative 8x. We bring down the next term, which is negative 10. And we start the process all over. 2 goes into negative 8, or 2x goes into negative 8x. What? Negative 4 times? Because negative 4 times 2x is 8x, is negative 8x. Remember, we are subtracting. Negative 4 times a positive 3 is negative 12. This cancels out to become 0. And then I have negative 10 minus a negative 12. You know that this turns into addition, and I have 2 as a remainder. Now, no longer are you going to write r or a remainder working with polynomials. So your answer is going to be 3x minus 4. You are going to write your remainder as this. You're going to add it to your answer by putting it as the numerator over the divisor 2x plus 3. So anytime you have a remainder when you are dividing polynomials, it will be the numerator above the divisor, which will serve as your denominator. This is the final answer. Okay. Example 7, x cubed minus 1 divided by x minus 1. Okay, so there's a little trick to this one that I need you to pay attention to. So we have x cubed, but we have to go in order of terms. It's not mentioned here in this binomial that there is an x squared and an x, but we have to add it to this division problem. So this is going to become, we have to add the x squared, we have to add the x, and then the minus 1. We must go in order when dividing these polynomials. And to help you out, you may want to put a 0 in front of the x squared and the x. Okay? Now let's write in the divisor, which is x minus 1. So now I want you, now we're ready. How many times can x go into x cubed? By thinking of the product with the product rule, you should think x squared. X squared times x is x cubed, and we're going to subtract this. Put your answer in your polynomial in parentheses. So now we're going to work on the second term. X squared times negative 1 is just negative x squared. Okay, so this first row is going to cancel. 0 minus a minus x squared is going to become just a positive 1 x squared. I'm going to bring down my next term, that is 0x. So let's think, how many times can x go into x squared? You should think 1 time. So we're just going to write x. X times x is x squared. I subtract this, and then x times negative 1 is negative x. So this cancels. 0 minus a negative 1 is a positive 1. So this again is just 1x. Bring down my next term, minus 1. So I think, how many times does x go into x? It goes 1 time, because 1 times x is x. So I'm going to write minus x. And then 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. When I subtract this, this all cancels out. This x minus x becomes 0. 1 minus a negative 1, this becomes an addition problem, and this cancels out and becomes 0. So my final answer is x squared plus x plus 1. All right, last problem. I have 2x to the 4th. Let's begin to write this. Okay, I've got all of my terms except for one. 2x to the 4th minus x cubed minus 7x squared. I don't have a regular x. I'm going to fill in a 0. And then plus 8 divided by x squared minus x minus 2. The only thing that's different here is that my divisor is a trinomial. I'm still going to focus on the first term. So x squared goes into 2x to the 4th power 2x squared times. When I multiply this, I get 2x to the 4th power. Remember to subtract. And then I'm going to multiply this by my other terms. 2x squared times negative x is negative 2x cubed. 2x squared times negative 2 is negative 4x squared. Now let's subtract. So I encourage you to work off to the side. Negative 1 minus a negative 2. This is 1, or negative 1 plus 2, which is a positive 1. So this is x cubed. A negative 7 minus a negative 4, this becomes addition. So negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3x squared. And I bring down my next term. Now x squared goes into x cubed one time because x times x squared is x cubed. And then I multiply it by my next term. Positive x times a negative x is a negative x squared. And then x times negative 2 is minus 2x. Let's subtract. This cancels. A negative 3 minus a negative 1. So that's negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2x squared. A 0 minus a negative 2 becomes a positive 2x. Bring down my last term. So starting at the beginning, x squared goes into negative 2x squared. It goes into it negative 2 times, because negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Remember, we are subtracting. Negative 2 times negative x is is a positive 2x. And then negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. All right, let's subtract. These cancel, as well as the 2x minus a positive 2x. And then I have 8 minus 4, which leaves me with a remainder 4. So here is my final answer, 2x squared plus x minus 2. Remember, we don't write remainder. We put the remainder on top of the divisor in a fraction, x squared minus x minus 2. This is my final answer. All right, guys, have a great day.